This is a production of ITM Media. Yes, race fans, it is the inaugural race from Circuit of the Americas today for the NASCAR Cup Series. I'm Matt Beamer here with Race Day Unhinged exclusively on the Unhinged Sports Network, Unhinged Sports Network's YouTube page and Anchor page. All major podcast platforms have exclusive shows for Race Day Unhinged as well as other Unhinged Sports Network shows. So we're glad that you're here today. We hope you're ready for race day, the inaugural race from Circuit of the Americas. It's very exciting. The last road course race to come in and be an inaugural race was the Daytona road course last year during the COVID-19 pandemic. So this should be a lot of fun. This should be very different. This track was built in 2012, that being Circuit of the Americas, as a Formula One track. Our friend Preston isn't here of the In the Marbles. He's been busy lately with work, but I'll be taking you through what to expect, what to look for, the hot lap exclusively on YouTube, and the rest of the things you need to know for today's Circuit of the America race from Austin, Texas. It's going to be a very exciting day, and it's going to be we've seen normal race weekend procedures as far as practice and qualifying back on track for this race. It's good to see that back. I think you'll see the competition pick up here throughout the course of the race from green flag to checkered flag through all 68 laps of this 20-turn, 3.4-mile road course. It's going to be a lot of fun. We've seen Formula One have spectacular races there, mainly Lewis Hamilton there, but that's another topic for our weekly racing show. But I'm Matt Beamer here again to bring you everything you need to know for today's race. It's going to be a lot of fun. As I stated, the track opened in 2012 as a Formula One specific track. And Preston and I have talked about this on the regular weekly show of In the Marbles of how it will transition over. As you're going to see today on our fast lap, exclusively on Unhinged's YouTube, it's still going to be difficult to drive. You're still going to need to find that rhythm in order to drive it. It's going to be a lot of twists, a lot of turns, and you're going to see that if you watch on YouTube and fast lap. The shows I'm recording here before, and disclaimer here, we record every show, and I'm sure everybody's kind of picked up on this before, a couple days before the actual race event starts, and we've been so spoiled with having everything lined up and all the qualifying set for Wednesday. But now we're actually going through qualifying. That qualifying will be 11 a.m. on Sunday, so an hour before this show comes out. But make sure to follow In the Marbles on all social media platforms at the bottom of the screen, or if you're on YouTube. And we'll tell you how to follow them at the end of the show in order to stay up to date on who's on the pole position and who qualified throughout the field, and what we kind of think about that throughout the course of the race before the green flag drops at Circuit of the Americas. So no lineup as far as today, but we do have expectations before we go any further. And this is my first expectation and what to watch out for today. And today's going to be a slow progressing race. We saw it at the Roval a few years ago when that came onto the NASCAR Cup Series circuit. It was slow progressing, and then as the run went on and everybody started getting used to the track, you started seeing those aggressive moves. Now, Circuit of the Americas is a road course specific road course as far as compared to the old Roval at Charlotte. That was a road course made out of an oval. Now, very different characteristics as far as there's no banking on here. You're not taking an existing track and making a road course out of it as far as Circuit of the Americas. But you are going to see, I think, a lot of people tiptoe through the first few turns in the first stage and then the second stage. And then when the third stage comes, that's when you're going to see, I think, everybody have their feet underneath them, and those cars hooking up perfectly to the track is going to have time to make adjustments throughout the race. And on top of that, like I stated earlier, they're going to have practice and qualifying, so they're going to be able to make adjustments there. However, not after qualifying, because it is an impound race. Second expectation here is that those who are good on road courses, expect them to stay good at road courses. I'm talking to Chase Elliott's, Brad Keselowski's, Martin Truex Jr.'s, and AJ Almandinger, who's going to be racing today in the number 16 Calling Racing Chevrolet. They're road course aces right there, especially Chase Elliott. We're going to get more into him as the show progresses. But Martin Truex Jr., Chase Elliott, Keselowski, all the normal, usual suspects you see up front at tracks like Sonoma, Watkins Glen, the Roval, Daytona road course, you're going to see up here in the front throughout the day at Circuit of the Americas. Now, what does that mean for the rest of the field? Well, they have practice in qualifying now. Tune the cars as best you can. They've known about this since late 2020. So it's been on the calendar. People have known about it. It's on iRacing. You're going to be able to see what exactly the drivers are going to go through and know what to do as far as that. Really what I'm saying is there's no excuse for what's going to happen, and there should be no surprises here with the track and how to run it, and at least an idea of what lines to hit and what marks to hit, shifting points, braking points, acceleration points. Everybody should have a good idea on that just based on the level of data that they have as far as simulations, team simulators, iRacing, video games, you name it. They've got the data right there and the resources they need in order to run well, but I still expect those guys who are road course racers to run up front throughout the rest of the day, throughout the whole day, I should say. And you're going to see it on our hot lap today. Tight, blind, left-hander turns, at least 3 of them on the track, good passing points going into turn 1, uphill. It's going to be different for a lot of drivers to experience. Now, a lot of drivers in the field haven't raced Sonoma before in a Cup car, but those who have kind of get the up the hill S stuff, but it isn't up the hill S, it's up the hill more than 90 degrees, I feel, turn off of turn 1 going into turn 2, following to the S's. It's going to be about rhythm. It's going to be about keeping the fenders on the car and being smart throughout the course of the race. It's just one of those things where you got to figure it out. And if you do figure it out, the sooner you figure it out, the better it's going to be throughout the rest of the day for everybody involved. But it's going to be a fun day. But those are my expectations here. Again, qualifying is going to go on an hour before this show comes out. Make sure to follow us all in the Marbles on all social media platforms. If you're watching YouTube, here at the bottom of the screen. And if not, we'll tell you at the end of the show how to follow them to get the latest updates on the qualifying for that. But those are my expectations for the race. And now we're going to get into Hot Lap if you're on YouTube, and a few ad reads from the Unhinged Sports Network if you're listening to us on there. This is Race Day Unhinged, and we'll be right back with who to watch out for after this. Folks, I'm going to take a quick second here and break from the show and remind everybody out there about In the Marbles online store at Teespring. There you can find all of your In the Marbles gear that you need, such as t-shirts, hoodies, mugs, and much more. Show everybody out there, whether it's at the NASCAR races or the local short tracks, that you are a fan and avid listener of In the Marbles. All purchases will help In the Marbles bring you more content in the future. If you just head over to inthemarbles.net under the merch tab, there you will find the link to Teespring, or you can head over to teespring.com/stores/inthemarbles, and there you will find our online store. And during the month of May, if you use code LUGNUT, it'll take 20% off your order. So remember, head over to inthemarbles.net under the merch tab, there you will find the link, or teespring.com/stores/inthemarbles. Again, 20% off if you use code LUGNUT for your entire purchase till the end of May. Back here on Race Day Unhinged, exclusively on the Unhinged Sports Network and all Unhinged Sports Network platforms. I'm Matt Beamer, getting you ready for the Circuit of Americas today. Got the weather report here, and usually Preston does this, but it's fallen to me to do it today, and I'm more than happy to do it. Folks, it's going to be a very interesting day of racing. Good thing we're racing on the road course. Highs in the 70s today with a 55% chance of rain. Now, rain is okay on road courses. NASCAR is completely okay with the rain. What NASCAR doesn't like is lightning, and lightning could throw a wrench in there throughout the course of the day. We'll wait and see on that, but a 55% chance of rain as of right now for today's Circuit of the America race. They could throw the rain tires on, but they don't have lightning tires yet. We haven't gotten to that stage in technology yet where we could throw lightning tires on and everybody race fine. It's just going to be one of those things we're going to have to wait and see. I want to say the policy for lightning for NASCAR is going to be 30 minutes after the lightning strike until race can resume. It's got to be, but once the lightning strike happens again in a certain amount of distance from the racetrack, the clock resets. Folks, if it happens, be patient. It's going to be interesting to see. I'm sure NASCAR on Fox will throw out a old road course race. And we'll get more into that. In fact, we're not going to get more into that. That's up to Fox, but that's kind of the policy right now. It's just one of those things you just have to watch out for. But stage breakdown goes like this. Stage 1 will be from the drop of the green flag to lap 15. Stage 2 will end at lap 32. Stage 3 will take you from the end of stage 2 all the way to lap 68, and that is the scheduled distance for today's race. I don't know how it's going to be with cautions and everything. I'm sure if a major accident happens, yeah, they're going to full course caution everything and clean to ensure everything's cleaned up for safety issues. But expect to see a lot of local yellows, maybe not as crazy, kind of a Sonoma-esque type racing. If somebody goes off in turn 11 or turn 3 at Sonoma, they don't block off everything and stop everything, and especially if racing is going on at turn 3 or turn 11, unless it is a safety issue, cars in trouble, with drivers in trouble, multiple cars involved, fluids on the track. It's going to be interesting. If you like road course racing, this is a race for you. I'm not a big fan of road course racing, as you saw on Fast Lap if you're watching on the YouTube portion of this show. I'm not a big fan of road course racing. I like the oval racing. It's so much better in my opinion. Road course racing isn't my thing. That's more of a Preston thing. But again, Preston's not here to defend it, so I'm going to say whatever I want about it. Who to look out for today's race from Circuit of the Americas? Of course, number one on everybody's list as far as what I feel is the one to watch out for, road course ace himself, Chase Elliot. In his last 5 road course starts, he has 4 wins with an average finish of 5th. And that is an amazing stat. Chase Elliot has figured out road courses, and Preston and I said it earlier, I think at the end of season 2 of In the Marbles Weekly Racing Podcast, that Chase Elliot saw that schedule come out with 7 road courses and his mouth watered. He doesn't have a win yet for Hendrick Motorsports. Everybody else in Hendrick Motorsports has a win, but Chase Elliott. And we talked about it on last week's show. I think Chase Elliott's biding his time. But I think if he's going to win anywhere today, or anywhere this season for his first win in 2021, he's going to win today at Circuit of the Americas. Second one to watch out for, Martin Truex Jr. In his last 5 road course starts, finished no worse than 12th with an average finish of 6.2. He's another one to watch out for. He dominated Darlington a few weeks ago. Didn't have the best run at Dover, but he has a few wins under his belt for 2021 as far as right now. I do expect him to run up front all day and have that Joe Gibbs Racing number 19 Toyota figure it out throughout the course of the run. Should be a lot of fun to watch them two go at it. Maybe it'll come down to it. I'm not expecting to see maybe somebody run away with it, but clean air is king with these high horsepower, low downforce cars, which we're racing today at Circuit of the Americas. It's going to be a lot of fun to watch. It's just going to be one of those things we have to wait and see. Maybe nobody has it put together. Maybe nobody has this track figured out, but they have 68 laps in order to do it. Dark horse today is going to be a road course specialist in himself, AJ Almandinger. I seen him win his first career race at Watkins Glen back in 2014. He's going to continue to do the same in the Calling Racing number 16 car. But he hasn't raced. Last time he raced was at Daytona Road Course. Didn't do so hot right there. But it is under certain similar conditions. He's not the best rain racer. Of course, he said that last year at the Charlotte Road Course and ended up winning that race. But AJ Allmendinger is going to be considered my dark horse throughout the course of today's race. And I figured if anybody wants to put him on their fantasy lineup, they can wait till the end of the show to find out what I chose for my fantasy lineup going into here. Tires and fuel look like this: 5 sets of tires and 1 transitioning from qualifying to the race. So the tires that they qualify on, as far as the Cup drivers, are the ones they're going to be racing on. Will that play a factor? I think it will. I don't know if you want to necessarily do a burner fast lap and have less grip on the tires. I think you'd want as much grip going on there into turn 1 as you possibly can. But I think everybody's going to have the car dialed, and it's going to be an interesting start, interesting qualifying. It's good to see practice and qualifying back. I think the competition is going to go through the roof at today's Circuit of the America race. Before we wrap up today's show, I wanted to take a moment to remind everybody out there in the Marbles Nation about our partnership with Fanatics. Fanatics is a proud partner of the Unhinged Sports Network, which we here at In the Marbles are the voice of racing. If you head over to inthemarbles.net under the Partners tab, there you will find a link to Fanatics, and it'll take you right to their NASCAR store, where you can find all your favorite drivers' hats, t-shirts, diecast, and more. But you don't have to just stop there. I buy all my Alabama Crimson Tide gear there, and Preston buys all his South Carolina Gamecock gear there as well. All purchases help out the Unhinged Sports Network, bringing you the best sports coverage 24/7 at unhingedsn.com. Make sure to head over to the Unhinged Sports Network to listen to your favorite shows, not just In the Marbles, but all your sports podcast needs, such as football, basketball, hockey, and yes, racing. That's unhingedsn.com. All right, getting ready to wrap up today's show. A quick one, especially when I'm here alone doing Race Day Unhinged. And today we're going to just be keeping it simple. It's going to be one of those things where I run through the In the Marbles 2.0 lineup, my In the Marbles 2.0 lineup, as well as the DraftKings entry. And for today, for DraftKings, it's going to be the NASCAR 12,000 Hot Rod Lobby with 3 entries max. So if you have a decent setup, a decent drafts picked in there, DraftKings picks in there, you're going to have a good run, maybe a shot at some of that $12,000. I hope so. And my first pick, no-brainer here, Chase Elliot coming in at $10,500. The most expensive driver on the roster, and I reckon to say, and I dare to say, the most expensive driver on any roster, right up there with the likes of Martin Truex Jr. and Brad Keselowski. Like I said, average finish of 5 at road courses in his past 5 road course starts, 4 of those being wins. Chase Elliott, number 1. Number 2, I talked about him racing the number 16 Calling Racing Chevrolet, and that is AJ Almandinger, a road course ace in himself. He knows how to do it both on the dry weather conditions and the wet weather conditions, and I think we're going to see maybe a combination of both of those throughout the course of the race today at Texas. 3, it's going to be one of those things where it's going to be a dark horse for me. I mentioned AJ Allmendinger being a dark horse, but throughout the course of me picking my DraftKings picks, I feel like I made a few more dark horse picks. And the number 3 pick coming in at $7,500 is Eric Jones. And he's having a decent run there in the Petty Chevrolet, but I feel like he's got enough experience and to do well in the sense that he's going to be able to run maybe in the top 15 by the end of the day. So I'm thinking he might do that, and if luck goes aside, maybe even creeping in there into the top 10, but no better than that. Eric Jones is going to be my number 3 pick. Number 4, a driver who's been impressing me since the drop of the green flag at Daytona, Chris Buscher in that number 17 Roush Fenway Ford, coming in at $6,900. He's going to have a good run throughout the day because he's just being so solid consistently throughout the year. He's having those runs that he needs to. He just renewed his sponsor. He's feeling pretty confident about staying in that position come 2022. And we'll just have to wait and see on that. That's more of a silly season weekly racing podcast thing. But Chris Buscher is my number 4 pick, I apologize. Number 5, 8,300, Christopher Bell won this year's Daytona road course in his first victory. So he got that weight of first victory and securing himself in the NASCAR playoffs off his shoulders early on, but he showed he can race on road courses in that Joe Gibbs Racing Toyota, and I feel like he's going to show more of the same today at Circuit of the Americas. And number 6, I keep bringing him up, and I'm hoping he's going to have a good run today. Right, not really known as a road course racer, but he's been known to surprise people more than once. Matt DiBenedetto, $7,900. He's going to be my 6th and final pick, and that's going to leave you $400 left over to play around. If you don't like Matt DiBenedetto, spring for someone higher, or a Chris Buscher or Eric Jones, but I say keep Chase Elliott, AJ Allmendinger, and Christopher Bell in that lineup, and I don't think you'll be disappointed. You could definitely play around with the other 3 picks right there to fill up your garage and stuff for DraftKings. It's just going to be one of those things. It's up to you. These are my picks. These are who I think are going to run well, but tell me who your picks are on all social media platforms for In the Marbles. Now, fantasy picks. In the Marbles 2.0, again, you pick 5 starters, 1 in the garage that you can switch up to the end of stage 2. After that, everybody's locked in, and that's what you have throughout the course of the race until the checkered flag falls. Then you have bonus picks being race winner, top Chevy, top Toyota, top Ford, winning manufacturer, and winning team. And that could boost you up so much in the standings. Right now, I'm tied for fourth in the Marbles 2.0. And if you're in the Marbles 2.0 and you're above me or tied with me, you're doing real well. If you're below me, I might be showing my hand a little, but I'm not having the best season as of right now, but I'm hoping to turn around here at COTA because we got a lot of crazy up and down races coming up here throughout the course of the next few weeks. Number one pick I have is Martin Truex Jr. We talked about him earlier in the show. No worse than 12th in road courses. He knows how to keep defenders on and knows how to run consistently at road courses. However, doesn't have a win at any of those road courses in the past 5 starts. Could Circuit of Americas be it? Could he be the inaugural winner of the Circuit of America race today for the NASCAR Cup Series? I'm not thinking so, but we'll have to wait and see. Number 2 pick is going to be Kyle Larson. He knows how to race everywhere, it seems like. It doesn't matter if it's a stock car, sprint car, dirt, road, asphalt, oval. It doesn't matter. He knows how to race. Kyle Larson's my number 2 pick. 3 is going to be Chase Elliott. I think he should be on everybody's DraftKings picks on and in everybody's fantasy lineup because he's going to be definitely that low-hanging fruit for today's victory here at Circuit of the Americas. 4, AJ Almandinger, another piece of low-hanging fruit, at least in my opinion. He's proven himself in the Xfinity Series and in the Cup Series as a road course racer. Expect more of the same today from AJ Almandinger. 5, name doesn't come up much here on Race Day Unhinged or in the Marbles Weekly Racing Podcast, but his name's starting to come up more and more, and that's Tyler Freddick. Sophomore season doesn't mean that he's in a sophomore slump here in the Cup Series in that 8 Richard Childress Chevrolet, but he does seem to be getting it. He seems to be getting his feet more under him. He's moving more and more up in the points every week, keeping the fenders on the car. He's not wrecking. He's not making mistakes in the pits. He seems to be clicking on all cylinders and firing on all cylinders in order to do what he needs to do to put himself in contention for postseason activity here in September. Tyler Reddick, watch out for him. Garage, just like in my DraftKings pick, I'm going to go with this guy, Matt DiBenedetto. I can move him up if I need to. If, say, Chase Elliott blows an engine on lap 5, well, I can move Matt DiBenedetto up, and I still may be possible to get points. Maybe not a win for Matt DiBenedetto, but a good solid finish nonetheless from old Matty D. Race winner today, I'm going to pick Chase Elliott to win in that number 9 Chevy for Hendrick Motorsports, and that's going to be my winning manufacturer and winning team as well, Hendrick and Chevy. He's going to be the last Hendrick driver to do it, but I think it will be a popular win if he does. And again, low-hanging fruit here for Chase Elliott, but he's my pick to win today's race from Circuit of the Americas. Top Chevy, no surprise here. It's going to be Chase Elliott. Top Ford, Brad Keselowski. He knows how to do it on road courses, but hasn't really gotten it done on road courses, in my opinion. He's a great road course racer. He just always seems to mess up and always seems to have issues there towards the end of the race to prevent him from getting the victory lane, but I think he's going to run consistent enough in order to be up there in the front, maybe top 5 by the end of the day. Top Toyota, Martin Truex Jr., can't count him wrong. Again, the reason he's not the race winner is he just doesn't seem to finish. He finished races in the top 5, top 10. However, he doesn't have any wins as in the last 5 races at road course. That might change today at Circuit of the Americas. Let us know what you think. Social media down below. I want to thank everybody so much for tuning in to us this day for Race Day Unhinged, exclusively on the Unhinged Sports Network. Make sure to follow In the Marbles on all social media platforms. Facebook In the Marbles, Twitter @MarblesIn, YouTube In the Marbles Weekly Racing Podcast, and Instagram in_the_Marbles_, and it'll take you right there. For us who is not here, I'm Matt Beamer. Thank you again so much for listening. Stay safe, and we'll see you at Charlotte.